You know, contrary to popular belief, it's very rare that a game is bad for any one particular reason. Games are made of many elements after all, and if one is lacking, you might find enough enjoyment in the others to make up for it. These are the fringe cases, however. Most of the time, if a game was not clever enough to cover one of its bases, there will be gaping holes in the others, causing every flaw you find to compound on one another until you no longer have any tolerance left for what you've just experienced. That is what playing Forward to the Sky is like, and our journey down the road of failure begins with the story. You are a princess, and you've built up a bit of a reputation as a troublemaker. Because of this, you have visited the legendary Sky Tower to hunt down the evil witch that supposedly lives there. First question, why? It's established that this witch isn't doing much these days. I mean, the people below the tower aren't suffering because of her presence. It's not like she's carpet bombing the land with crystals or anything, so even if the princess defeats her and brings the tower down, what is accomplished? She's trying to shake the reputation of being a troublemaker by going out of her way to find trouble. Second, look at this quote, witch. She's young, pretty, wearing a white dress, and does not speak to our protagonist in a menacing way whatsoever. Gee, I wonder what the plot twist is going to be here. You're not gonna make this woman the bad guy, because that's just how predictable writing works. You figure this out on stage 1, but of course, the princess's head is so filled with delusions of grandeur that it takes her 4 to catch on that something's not right here. This isn't Attack on Titan, okay? Figuring out where this story is going does not make me smart. It makes the protagonist stupid. But trust me, there are much better reasons to dread controlling this chick. Don't you love 3D action games that don't have a lock-on system, where the combos feel stiff, slow, and extremely lacking in impact, whose animations are either too short or too long to reliably hit anything at any distance? How about ones that only offer you 2 basic combos to work with? Because hey, it doesn't matter how you hit the enemies anyway, most of them have super armor and attacks that freeze you in place, causing you to take extra damage over time. And yet despite this, are still so pathetically easy that you can beat them on your first go without any trouble. Watch out, Platinum. I think somebody might be gunning for your throne here. Believe it or not though, combat is a side attraction. What you'll be doing the most of in Forward to the Sky is puzzle platforming. And if you think the combat handled poorly, wait till you're rocking the joystick back and forth, desperately trying to get your character to land correctly. Wait till you're fighting with wind currents that have no immediately clear visual distinction between when they're blowing one way or the other, especially when you're in a situation where you have to make that distinction quickly. Wait until you're trying to pilot a boulder through a maze of laser beams, hitting any of which will knock you off the boulder, forcing you to start all over again. Wait until you have to mix the lot of them. Wait until you're navigating through a maze of spinning lasers while simultaneously trying to hop from platform to platform. Did you just see that? I took cover behind that pillar so I could survey my surroundings and get a bearing for where to go next. And even though it protected me from the first few beams, that one somehow sneaked behind my cover and nicked me in the back. Pardon me, I didn't realize we were playing Bad Rats. And speaking of inconsistency, if anything is going to make you rage quit this game, it's stage 3. Okay, let's get this straight. How these gates are supposed to work is that each one has a strong wind current that catapults you to the next one. However, this particular curve of them is set up in such a way that it will not work the way it's supposed to if left to its own devices. What you are seeing is actual footage of me trying to maneuver the princess in such a way that I can force the basic physics needed to traverse the game to work correctly. And tell me, who did you learn how to jump from? Ghosts and goblins? I had to force this character against a wall to cancel out her continuous momentum in the air in one segment. It was either that or fall in a pit. With all of this combined, you know where I had the most fun in this game? Exploring the strange architecture. And there are a lot of platforms beneath the actual stages that lead nowhere, but you can land on regardless. It actually triggered my sense of discovery for a second, trying to sneak peeks at part of the level I wasn't meant to see. Let me say that again. I enjoyed breaking this game and seeing its underside more than trudging through the parts with the actual intelligent design behind them. You tell me what that says about the quality on display here. Okay, so that's story and gameplay down. What's next? Production values? Christ almighty, listen to this voice acting.
Hurry forward a step. the witch before other people get to her. Landscape isn't bad for a witch. Oh no! I can't praise a witch like this!
The skeletons, they're not gathering crystals.
Then why are they all carrying crystals? Why won't you speak, witch?
HuniePop had fantastic direction and characterization. Guilty Gear Exard got Sasuke himself to voice Bedman. These actresses don't even sound like they want to be here. Not that they're given much to work with. Apparently Animu Game is a Taiwan-based studio, and considering how poor this localization is, I'd believe it. This translation is average at best and glaringly awkward at worst. Seriously, read some of these lines out loud to yourself and you'll realize how unnatural they sound. But wait, there's more! To get the good ending of this game, you'll have to find all 100 crystals in each stage. This means defeating all the enemies for the first quarter and then hunting down 3 hidden angel statues for the other 75. Let me tell you, it is heartbreaking when you get all the way to the end of the stage, only to realize you need to go back and do it all again just so you can see how bad the story really is. But I did it! I got all 600 crystals, and no achievements to show for it, by the way. Thanks for that. And you know what my reward was? Just hazard a guess. Do you think it was A, an alternate costume, B, getting to play as the witch, or C, a bonus stage with extra plot and mechanics? Ooh, I'm sorry. All those options would have required effort. The correct answer is D, absolutely nothing! All you get is to reread all the text you already saw over the course of this journey, capped off with the promise that there will be more adventures in the future. Oh, no there's not. Not if I can help it. Look, guys, you failed. You set the ambitions for your first project way too high and tried creating something that would have required a much bigger team and a lot more experience to pull off. Scrap it. Scale it back and hit the drawing board. Make something a lot simpler and a lot easier to manage so that you can realize it to its full potential rather than having to release something that is clearly only half finished. And let this be a lesson to future developers out there as to what happens when you overextend yourself. You make your player go through a poorly made 3D platformer with unsatisfying combat, a mind-numbingly boring story that insults your intelligence at every turn, terrible voice acting, an only okay soundtrack, and physics that would make a Grand Theft Auto 4 swing set blush. And for what? What is their reward for putting up with all that? The promise that there will be more games coming that are just like it. All neatly condensed into an hour and a half. Yup. Forward to the Sky is bad. In fact, it's so bad, I have no qualms about spoiling the one thing I bet a great majority of you are willing to drop money on it for. Black garter belt, white panties. There, I just saved you $8.